love you. Have a great day at school.
Dictator on day one.
There will have to be some form of punishment for women.
Roe vs. Wade was terminated.
Fire, fury, bloodbath. Now get in.
You know what, honey? I'm gonna drive you today.
Besides, can convicted felons even drive school buses?
If you wouldn't trust him with your kid, why would you trust him with your country?
Convicted felon Donald J. Trump apparently did not have the necessary grant of clemency to vote in Florida's Republican primary, public records indicate, but he voted anyway. On Wednesday, the ex-president and current Republican nominee to reclaim the White House traveled from his Mar-a-Lago resort home to a nearby Palm Beach County polling place to cast a ballot that included two U.S. House contenders, one Florida House hopeful, two school board members, the state attorney, the public defender, a county court judge, the sheriff, and a ballot question about extending tax abatements. Only Trump knows who he voted for, and only he knows how he was able to vote in Palm Beach County. Trump was photographed at the early voting site just like any other celebrity exercising a fundamental civil right. On hand to greet him was a smiling Palm Beach supervisor of elections, Wendy Sartori-Link. But it appears that neither Link nor anyone else made any inquiry about his entitlement to vote or to prevent him from doing so.
That was working for Donald Trump earlier on this campaign when his opponent was Joe Biden. Why? Too old to be president. Look at this. 78% of voters said in May that Joe Biden was too old to be president. But now the age issue is working against Donald Trump. Why? Because Kamala Harris is now the Democratic nominee. Look at this. Just 11% of likely voters say Kamala Harris is too old to be president. Now, if we come on to the other side of the board, look at that difference with Donald Trump. Look at this now. 58% of likely voters say Donald Trump is too old to be president. Now, that's up a little bit from May when it was 53%, but that 53% compared to 78% looked pretty gosh darn good. But now that 58% compared to that 11% for Kamala Harris, very bad news for Donald Trump. The messaging that Donald Trump and his campaign have been putting forward earlier on this campaign has been flipped upside down.
She's only 59, but okay.
You could get 11% to agree on anything. 11% of people believe the moon landing was faked.
Okay, there you go. Is it just about the age, or is this about the message, the change that this might bring in?
Yeah, all right. So you know what? We talk about age, but I think age is also a stand-in for change, and this is a change election. Look at this. Political or economic system in this country needs at least major change. Look at this. 2/3 of likely voters in the key battleground states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin believe that, in fact, the political and economic system in this country needs at least major change. Just 33% believe that it needs minor or no change. So the key nugget in this campaign is to be the candidate of change. If you are the candidate of change, you will win.
And who is leading on that front, the candidate of change?
Right, exactly. The age issue is working against Donald Trump. The change issue is now working against Donald Trump. We'll bring the right kind of change. Again, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin among likely voters. Look at this. Kamala Harris at 51%. Close by is Donald Trump at 47%. What I will note, Sarah, is these numbers look identical, basically, to what we see in the horse race, which was Harris ahead by 4 points. And you're seeing that right here on We'll Bring the Right Kind of Change. Harris ahead, again, by 4 points. So all of a sudden in this campaign, a campaign that has been about age and been about change, it was working for Donald Trump, and now it is working against him, and that is why Kamala Harris has all this momentum.
Very interesting. Harry Enton, thank you so much.
One thing that is very apparent this Thursday is the fact that the game has been altered. Kamala Harris has come along and literally, before, maybe there was a lot of, if somebody in the Republican Party or on Elon Musk's blue tick Twitter or on Fox News said something dumb, stupid and controversial, we were like, oh my days, no. Whereas now we're just saying, all right, yeah, no problem. We'll do what are the important things, what people really care about. And this has caused a problem for Fox, X, or whatever it's called, and Trump, because no longer do their words carry any reaction. They were like saying stuff to get a reaction. And they're trying to find something they can stick to Kamala Harris, and nothing is sticking, like nothing. This nonsense, oh, she's not done a press briefing. Oh, impeach her. She's not done a sit-down interview. Garbage. And J.D. Vance has a problem, by the way, because the weird title sticks. And the other thing, America's dad, Tim Miles, is loved. Straight away. I would say Trump has a problem. And Fox and Fiends have an even bigger problem because they can, you got Lawrence on this, I don't even know why they have a spare wheel, basically. They can chitter chatter all their life, feed the garbage to their viewers, but we can see what's going on and we're going, losers.
Voters said that the economy is in poor shape. Trump leads Harris by 6 points on the issue of the economy. And a new Cook Political Report survey finds Trump and Harris are tied in the swing state of Georgia. Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Richard McCormick, member of the House Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, Science, Republican Study, and GOP Doctors Caucus. He also served in the Marine Corps. Congressman, thank you so much for your service to our country.
It's my pleasure. God bless you and Semper Fi.
I love that. So let's talk about this race here. I'm surprised that the two are tied and so close across the country, including in Georgia. What do you make of these numbers in these polls?
It's really hard to believe, especially here in Georgia. I think this is a red state. I think we will win decisively. And I think President Trump is enormously popular here in Georgia. I'm not really sure where these statistics are coming from, where these polling numbers are coming from, but it's very surprising to me, too. I was just talking about that to several of my constituents. I really don't want to believe it, but I think we have a lot of work to do to make sure that that doesn't happen, that this is not even a question here in Georgia. This is deep red territory.
Well, what's happening right now is that initially, when Joe Biden was the Democratic nominee, Trump was playing on his turf, reaching out to his voters, and that's why you saw 2, 3, maybe even a 4-point advantage for Trump. These were people who were disappointed, disengaged with the Democratic Party. Now it's exactly the opposite. These are ex-Republicans, ex-conservatives who are looking at Trump and his personality, the whole Trump van's ticket, and they're saying this is not what I want. I want to be clear about this. The two issues that matter most are immigration and inflation. And on those issues, Donald Trump still has the advantage over Harris. But on these personality traits, Harris has a tremendous advantage over Trump. And there are people who had voted for Trump in 2020 that will not vote for him again because they're tired of his rude and abusive behavior. He is literally losing this election. And I'm starting to wonder, does he want to lose? Is this something that's going on inside his head simply because he doesn't want to be president for 4 more years? Because no sane person would campaign the way Donald Trump is campaigning.
If it's trending in her direction, which I believe that it is, maybe it ends up better. But Donald Trump has been, for instance, saying that he's going to introduce a big, beautiful health care plan. And there are no specifics on it. And Kamala is being held to a standard where she has to tell you the nuts and bolts of things, where people are saying, you tell us exactly that. She's supposed to talk about her economic plan on Friday. The press is already saying it'll be, quote, light on detail. They don't know. Could it be as light as big and beautiful? I doubt it.
Are you actually arguing that Donald Trump is held to a lower standard than Kamala Harris?
Yeah, actually I am. If you could say, I'm going to get rid of Obamacare and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, then that is the lowest standard of all
Republicans aren't really.
Many people say that the only reason the stock market is up is because people think I am going to win. Did you ever hear that? But there was one day, a couple of weeks ago, when they weren't thinking that, and you saw what happened. This will be a 1929 style crash. You know, I have one of.
Also, Donald Trump did not come up with no taxes on tips for corporate lawyers and hedge fund managers.
I tip my hedge fund managers all the time.
Then why isn't there
only
an
around
income
Christmas?
Next up, Tim A. tries to play the victim in his.
This is Donald Trump in campaign mode, and that's what Democrats want to see. They want to see someone who is up there and is going to be bragging about crowd size and saying that he had a bigger crowd than Martin Luther King Jr. So it's not actually the best day, though, for him to be doing this, because the inflation report was a good one. So we're under 3% for the first time since March 2021. It's 15 months that we've seen wage growth go over the inflation rate, which is what everyone wants to see. There was a report out that our U.S. Crude oil production is now 13.4 million barrels a day. So we're outpacing 35% ahead of Russia, 38% ahead of Saudi Arabia. And what we're seeing in the surveys about this, like in Michigan, for instance, there was a FT and the Ross School of Business did a poll together of voters there, and they actually rated Kamala Harris as more trustworthy on the economy than Donald Trump. It was just 42 to 41, but she was trailing double digits, sometimes over 20 points behind him. So the American public is seeing a change here. They are seeing inflation cool. It's not done. 100% it's not done. But it is moving in the right direction, and that's why you're seeing such a surge for Kamala.